Hey, what up everyone? I'm Sinnycool, and this is Gems of War. The preview for the week of February 27th, 2023. So let's get into it with the SOULFORGE, the world event, the campaign. We got Guild Wars this week, a new Mythic. So let's go. The Tooth is out there, new epic troop, Spirit Tooth. Get this troop with glory from the rewards tab of the shop. Now in the vault, the Empress is now available in the vault. Defeat Cedric for a chance to get her. Now, if you guys have been watching the channel religiously, I let you know when the Empress was accidentally in the gem and glory key drop table like 2 weeks ago. So shout out to Tim U7 for that info. Now in the vault, the Ace of Wands is now available in the vault. Defeat Cedric for a chance to get it. I think I need that one. Guild Wars, help your guild win the war. Don't forget to set your defenses and fight your daily battles. Spirit Whisperer, experience our new world event with your guildmates. Play world event battles every day to unlock rewards. I have a scoring video and a team video out already for that event. Kingdom Pass, the Kingdom Pass has started. Defeat the Kingdom Battle Crashers and unlock rewards. We got 27 days left of that. Window of Spirits, the campaign has started. New rewards every week. Don't miss out. 41 days of that left. Week of Wild Plains, all Wild Plains troops gain 10% to skills. Week of Taurus, all Taurus gain 10% to their skills, and bonus gold if you use Spirit Tooth in PvP and Explore to gain 400 gold. Alright, let's go straight to the SOULFORGE. See what we got. Alright, what mythics do we have? We have Hatir and Scroll, an underrated troop, I would say. Flame of Anu. Zillapachli. And Tina 9000. So the number one this week is Tina 9000, I would say. 24 red, green, brown, Adana mech. Deal a range of true damage to 3 random enemies and gain 82 armor. Has 50% of armor to skull damage. It has reduced damage from spells by 50%. It's a really good, super solid mythic. It's probably a top 10. It's down there in that 5 to 10 range, and that's always like kind of switching around for me and changing up, and sometimes I feel like Tina's a borderline top 10, and sometimes I feel like it's in that 5 to 10 range, but it's somewhere around there. It's definitely like an A tier mythic. It's really good, and it's up to you. Like, you know, Flaming Oni, Mistralis, Tina 9000, there's these troops that are kind of like Lord of Slaughter. They're all kind of like in that range right there. So yeah, if you don't have it and you're going for all the top 10s, it's potentially a top 10. So, I don't know. I wish I could tell you for sure. I need to do a new top 10. But if you got Tina 9000 this week and you've been saving and waiting for a top 10, it wouldn't be like, you could definitely convince me that it's a top 10. So, I would not argue with you if you did it. Alright, Hatir and Scroll is next up. It's probably like an A- tier mythic. It's really underrated. Not very many people use it. I think because of the lycanthropy involved with it, that it turns them off. But it is like a double converting troop. It's really nice. It's 23 red, blue, purple, Magrim Woods Elemental Beast. So it has 2 different 50% starts. You can do the Mirage Queen or Forest Guardian. It's pretty good with Forest Guardian. Convert all green gems to lycanthropy gems and all yellow gems to doomskull. Summon a winter wolf or warg. So it's got those 2 conversions, and it has a summon. It doesn't really have any good traits. It's got impervious. But yeah, like I said, you could put it with the Mirage Queen or Forest Guardian, and both are pretty good. A- tier, probably like a top 20-ish. Not a top 10, though. So Tina is arguably a top 10. Hatir and Scroll is not a top 10. It's outside of it for sure. Alright, what else was there? We got Flame of Anu and Zillapachli. I would say Flame of Anu might be next. It's nothing special. It's a super average mythic, maybe even below average. 24 red, blue, yellow, Leonis Empire, Divine Beast. Deal damage to the first 2 enemies boosted by burning and fairy fired enemies. Burn and fairy fire a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. Just like a normal mythic. That's not really anything to write home about. Zillapachli, same thing. It's not like the worst mythic ever, but it's definitely not the best. 25 green, blue, purple, Suncrest Strix Undead. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by purple gems. If there is a storm, deal double damage. If the enemy dies, create 12 skulls. So it's kind of like a really, really, really budget Zul'Goth if you happen to get it like super early, but so budget that it's like average to below average. It's not even worth really comparing to Zul'Goth, but just makes the skulls. If the enemy dies, it makes skulls. It does a boost ratio for purple gems, but only a 1-to-1. If there's a storm, deal double damage. It's kind of, I don't know. It's like a mixture of a bunch of good mythics, but somehow it turns out bad because it's like a bunch of good tasting ingredients, but when you mix them together, it just tastes weird and tastes bad. It's kind of like what Zillopachli is. All right, let's check out the legendaries. So far, Tina 9000 is a great craft, and Hatir and Scroll is a decent craft for sure. All right, what do we got? The Flesh Horror, the Were Stag. Gloomleaf and Carnix. So nothing very special this week for legendaries. So let's just go over them. 16 blue, purple, Galvania Undead Monster is the Flesh Horror. It eliminates all armor from an enemy, then deals 37 damage to them and all enemies below them. So, you know, it's a little bit of true damage, but it's not true damage for all. It's just true damage for that first troop. And it doesn't have any good traits, so it was never really anything too great. It does hit all enemies, though, so every once in a while you might use it for, like, a world event. If you don't have, like, the Mythic, maybe. The Werestag, 16 yellow, green, Forest of Thorns, Beast Monster. Deal true damage to the first and last enemies, then create 3 Doom Skulls for each Lycanthropy gem on the board. It's one of those, like, you don't want a bunch of Lycanthropy gems on the board, so its boost ratio is based on something annoying, and then it doesn't hit all enemies, it only hits 2 enemies, and then it doesn't really have any good traits, so not very good either. Gloomleaf, 14 red, green, Forest of Thorns, Fey, Elemental, Steel, Armor, and 5 attack from all enemies. That's not good. That's a terrible legendary. Carnix might be my favorite out of all these legendaries that are in the SOULFORGE right now. 15 red, purple, Adana Mech, create 5 skulls, then explode 10 skulls, and gain 54 armor. At least it's a good, like, tank. It has reduced damage from skulls and reduce 25 or add 25% of armor to skull damage and impervious. It's a decent tank and mana generator because it explodes skulls, which explodes a bunch of gems too. It's okay. It's like a B- or C+ or something, and then everything else, every other legendary is below that. The next best was probably that first one, the Flesh Horror. So if I had to put the legendaries in an order, I would say Carnix is best, then Flesh Horror, then Werestag, and coming in last is Gloomleaf. Weapons. So we have an important weapon this week. Wild Cleaver's one. It's not great, but it's one of those explodey Wild Plains allies. Summon a Wild Plains trooper. Orn Cleaver is also another one, you know, a decent one. It's 41 damage to an enemy boosted by Taurus allies. Then create a mix of 6 green and brown gems for each Taurus ally. And then we got Rage Reaver. Rage Reaver is the most important weapon. Those other ones I just mentioned aren't as important as Rage Reaver. A lot of the Taurus allies are going to use red mana, and this deals splash damage to an enemy and creates 4 red gems boosted by Taurus allies. I didn't even know that it did splash damage too. I've been casting it on like first slot and everything. I should be casting that on second slot. I don't know why. I just concentrating on the red that it makes. I'm not really concentrating on the damage, but damage is pretty high, and it makes so much red. If you have a whole team of Taurus allies, it almost always gets an extra turn. It's super nice, and it only does red. Like Nimbus Bow does like yellow and blue, and like Lupine's Edge does like red and green. Like Rage Reaver only does red, and it does a lot of it, and it almost always gets an extra turn. It's like probably the best Guardian weapon in the game for like the second best Guardian team. So totally recommended. You should not leave the week without it. And if you, for some reason, don't have one of the ingredients for it, you need to do something different. What else? There's like one other thing here, right? I don't think it was super awesome though. Got the Staff of the Wild, the Doomed Maul, and Primal Axe. None of those are super good. This is another one of the deal damage boosted by Wild Plains allies, green and red for each Wild Plains ally. So those are nice to have for collection purposes and will be useful every once in a while. Doomed Maul is terrible, and Staff of the Wild is pretty terrible too. But collection purposes, right? So don't leave this week without Rage Reaver, and if you can, get Tina 9000 as well. If you already have Tina 9000 and Rage Reaver, consider Hatir and Scroll because it's also like an A- tier mythic. That's what I would say. That's my TLDR of the SOULFORGE. Rage Reaver 100%, Tina 9000 is a top 10 most likely, and Hatir and Scroll is a very good mythic you should consider if you already have all the other top 10s. Alright, let's go check out the world event. Like I said, I already have a video on the scoring and the teams, so we're just kind of going to skim over it real quick here. Find the crazy Null Sage Spirit Tooth to ask about the spirit world. As is customary, collect a variety of teeth as tribute. Right, the metal is spell damage, so you want to hit as many enemies as possible with spell damage. That's the goal. Because the boost is so high. Like, that's the best thing to always do. I have a video on the scoring. It's pretty easy, though. Collect your rewards before you get started, so you get all your tokens. That way you can have as many medals as possible. I went up to Tier 3 just to get a medal for my video at 4 a.m. this morning, so I don't know, you may only need to buy up to like Tier 2 or something. That's usually pretty safe when you're starting a world event, just to buy up to Tier 2 so you can get the two potions. Potion of Enchantment and Potion of Explosion. Those are like the two most useful potions anyway, and they're the first two. And it's pretty cheap to be able to buy the Tier 1 and Tier 2, so if you don't know how many tiers to buy, just buy the first two and go from there. But yeah, video will be linked at the end of this video if you need the team video. I'll link it at the end of this. Alright, we also have Guild Wars, huh? But let's go check out the shop real quick. I already grabbed my Spoils of War. You want to grab that every single week. And I already got all my Spirit Tooths all the way to Mythic. You should do that if you're a high-level player for sure. But we're getting Arcane Spirit Traitstones 2 at a time as we get copies of Spirit Tooth. So let's check out the blue and purple Traitstone after we check out Spirit Tooth. Alright, 12 blue, purple, Wild Plains, Wargear, Mystic. Deal damage to an enemy and then create 3 Spirit Gems. It has Mana Shield, immunity to Mana Burn, Mana Drain, and Mana Steal. It has Burning Hatred, deal double skull damage versus red enemies, and it has Arcane, gain 1 magic when an ally casts a spell. So it doesn't seem very good. Only 3 Spirit Gems and only damage to an enemy. It has no follow-up. When would you ever need this? But the blue, purple Traitstones you might need, so let's go check that out. So we're going to go to Troops. We're going to go to blue, purple, all colors, base rarity, show all. Alright, these are the troops that potentially use this Traitstone. The Mythics are potentially use this Traitstone. Everything else definitely uses this Traitstone. Alright, so what do we have? Any Mythics? We got Ferris Ra, who has Necromaster. Not as important as it used to be way back in the day, but it's notable for having Necromaster. Skady has that Ice Storm, that Snowstorm. The Possessed King with the Unstable Possession. That's probably the most important thing I've seen so far. Ulor and Vernalis do have like little like third traits that they do, but I don't use them very often. But notable, I guess. Alright, so that's all the Mythics that might use the Traitstone. Most important to me was the Possessed King. Let's take a look at the Legendaries. They definitely use this Traitstone. We got Scylla, Deadly Waters. If you like the Skull Waterfall team, you could definitely get it this week because Possessed King and Scylla are here. And I think they're both used on that team, right? I think it's Wrath, Doomed. It's Wrath, a Doomed Weapon. I think Possessed King and Scylla, something like that. And you got both Scylla and Possessed King on this team. Or with this Traitstone, sorry. On that team. Anyway, Scion has some interesting traits. Lazara has her Unstable Mind. It's a Madness Storm. Shagaroth is nice. I don't think you need a Enrage a random ally when an ally casts a spell, but he's interesting. Triton has that 50% start for Merfolk. Then, what else do we have? We have any, like... We got this Empowered Converter. Malcandessa. Are there any other Empowered Converters or anything like that down here? Spirit Dancer have anything? Not really. That's about it. So this stone is really not used very much. So if you... Malcandessa would be one. Malcandessa, Triton, Scylla, the Possessed King would be the ones you'd be looking at, mostly. Alright, event key drop table. We got Wild Plains this week, so let's check that out. Wild Plains is pretty good, if I recall correctly. It's at least super duper solid. I know that. We quit. Wild Plains. Base rarity. Show all. Alright, these are the troops you can get with event keys, at least mostly. Some of them, if they're faction troops, you can't. Alright, so Ketris the Bull is one of those used to be top 10s. It is no longer a top 10, I can say that for sure. But it might still be like a top 25, top 20. It's pretty good. It deals splash damage to an enemy, boosted by my attack, life, and armor. So you boost up its attack, life, and armor with like Yasmin's Pride or something. Then you hit the 2 slot, and it usually will like kill 3 of the enemies. It's pretty cool. It's like a super ferocity or like a super gargoyle. Toras isn't so good. It's good for the event right now, but it's not so good outside of like a world event where it gets tons and tons of spell damage extra on top. The Lord of Slaughter, though, is a top 10. Like I was saying with Tina earlier, it's down there. Like, everybody probably has a different, like, 5 to 10 or 6 to 10. So, Lord of Slaughter is in there somewhere. Some people might have him at 11. Some people might have him at 6. But he's in there somewhere, and if you use event keys this week and you get Lord of Slaughter, you're probably getting a top 10. He's really good. He's 27 green, blue, red, Wild Plains, Wargear Construct. Create 6 brown gems, then convert all brown gems to Doom Skulls, then inflict 1 to 2 bleeds and 1 to 2 death marks on random enemies. I guess people probably think I'm crazy for thinking he's probably better than Tina. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I don't know, though. Let me know in the comments who's better, Tina 9000 or Lord of Slaughter. I know Lord of Slaughter does like a bunch of skulls and it has Savage Strike, but Tina is so solid and does true damage. I don't know. It's a toss-up for me on that. I think they're pretty close in my opinion. But yeah, the Lord of Slaughter is what you'd be going for, and your consolation prize would be Ketris the Bull, and if you have bad luck, you're going to get Toras. Alright, legendaries, is there anything there? Not really. Nothing good, at least. Wow, is this super top-heavy? Like, Sunweaver's like a freaking troop you get super early in the game, like, for free. So not really worth mentioning. Yeah, I mean, this is so top-heavy. If you don't get the Lord of Slaughter, you're really not getting anything else. Lord of Slaughter or Ketris, or you just wasted a bunch of event keys, so. Hopefully you get a Mythic. Hopefully you got at least like 5,000 event keys if you're using them. You don't throw like 1,000. That's not how event keys work. So yeah, that's event key drop table. That is the Glory Shop troop, the Traitstone, the SOULFORGE, and the World event. So let's go check out everything else that's going on right now. Alright, so today you're going to be like doing your campaign, you're going to be doing your crowns, you're going to be setting your defense teams for Guild Wars, your Sentinels if you're going to do them, getting ready for Guild Wars. Tomorrow, Tuesday, doing some World event maybe, because we have Vault this weekend and a new Mythic this weekend, so you're really going to want to get that World event done like today if possible. Get your campaign done today 100%, and then you really need to get your World event done like as soon as possible. Like do your share today or tomorrow or something like that, because we got Guild Wars all week, we got Vault event all weekend, we got a new Mythic on Friday. When are you going to do your World event and your campaign? You almost have to do it today. Tomorrow we have the Labyrinth, I think, right? Is that the faction? Pretty sure. Wednesday we got this little bull guy for a pet. Thursday we got Shaman class, which is really good for the Triple Ferocity Rage Reaver team, but that's about it. Maybe Ketris. Ketris, that's about it. Ketris and Ferocity. Really specialized. It's kind of like Stormcaller. Stormcaller's only good for like finesse and like one other thing. Same with Shaman. It's only good for Ferocity and like one other thing. Then this weekend we have a new Mythic. It looks pretty good. It's called the Phoenix. It does, I think, true damage to all enemies, and it has an interesting third trait. And we also have the Vault event, March 3rd, starting the Vault event. Supposedly we have an Adana rework coming, like, pretty soon, like in a couple months maybe, and you might want to use your Ironhawks pretty hardcore, because Ironhawk is from Adana, and there's a potential nerf coming to Ironhawk, so use the crap out of it and hurry up and get it. And I'm sorry it hasn't been in the SOULFORGE recently, but it should be there soon. Jeez. So yeah, that's what's going on this week. Campaign, Guild Wars, World Event, Labyrinth, This Pet, Shaman Class, New Mythic, Vault Event. That's everything going on this week. Get your crowns. Alright, Campaign. Let's see what's on the adventure board. We got some gems. Campaign. Fortunately, a friendly Volpacian. Well, how else would you say that? Volpacian? Volpacian? Volpacian. See, that's why I think it's Volpacia, because it sounds so much better to say Volpacian. So, argue with me in the comments, please. Fortunately, a friendly Volpacian, Todd Greenwood, with the sports, led us to his kingdom. It was as if they had been waiting for us. The Volpacians were worried about the spirit world, and asked us to help learn more about the problems. They seldom traveled far from home, and they feared the totemic powers at work would need someone to visit sages in some of the most dangerous places of Crystara. Volpacian. Taurus Bane, kill Taurus enemies in any battle except training. Forest Crystals, match green gems in any battle except training. Dominator, win ranked PvP battles. Alright, what are we getting? Nothing too special. And then we're getting attack, which doesn't really help anything. Maybe one of your Guild Wars teams, possibly. If you're going for a Glass Cannon Skull spam team. But that's the campaign. Nothing too special there, just get it done. And what else? I think that's about it for today, right? Got to do your Kingdom Pass. Get those crowns. Not really getting anything special today. You probably got this yesterday. Finnick Thief. But yeah, that's it for today. But I do need y'all to please pray for somebody, if you don't mind. They are now a sinner and one with the choir. We have R.E. R.E. is now a sinner and one with the choir. I really, really appreciate it. Hit that join button, the link in the description. Became one with the choir. We must pray, because they are now a sinner. Also, Wonderful. Wonderful is now a sinner and one with the choir. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Juan. Now a sinner and one with the choir. We must pray. Shout out to Juan and shout out to R.E. Thank you guys for hitting the membership button, the join button, the link in the description. Really, really appreciate it. Helps so much. We are the Sexy 60 right now. We have 62 members, so it's not like a new record or anything. People fall off and then other people join. People fall off, gifted memberships happen. People fall off, other people join. Like, it's always like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back type of deal. So 62 though, we're sexy right now. I love it. So really appreciate it. Thank you to all my members. I will shout out every single member in the next live stream if I remember. But yeah, shout out to Juan and RE, the 2 newest, not newest, but 2 members I needed to shout out. Thank you so much. If you would like to become a member, there's a link in the description right now in this video. There's the blue join button. You get cool emojis. You get a shout out. You get a badge that levels up the longer you're a member. If you go to tier 2, you get videos early and ad free. And tier 3 is like everything. And you can also suggest videos, topics like once a month if you want to. But yeah, that's it for today. Like, share, subscribe, consider joining. It helps a lot. Tell your guild about the channel, comment below. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the faction video, and I'll see you Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. EST for the live stream. Peace.